Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sim Racing Bible. Welcome back to the channel. We're back live streaming again. It seems like not long ago since we did our Saturday live stream, but we're back again because RaceRoom have released the latest content for the simulation title, which is the WTCR 2021 season. Now, RaceRoom are pretty much undoubtedly kings of WTCR category racing on sim racing titles. They've been doing it for many years now, and they are all very, very good and very well done. So undisputed, really. But now we have the latest and greatest versions of these cars available. So we're going to take a look at them, see what's new, and basically give a good test and just drive all the cars, see how they go. I'm not expecting to be seeing huge differences between this and the 2020 season cars because there was a change of tyres for 2020, so I'm expecting to see fairly similar results. However, who can pass up an opportunity to drive some TCR cars in the RaceRoom, especially some brand new ones? So we'll go through some changes and get them on track and see how they go. So let's jump into the title now, and I'll run you through what we have available to us. So get myself in here as well. There we go. Okay, here we are in RaceRoom itself at the car selection screen. So we have the usual suspects, you would like to say. Hidden below probably my face down the bottom corner here, which you probably won't be able to see very much at the moment, is the Link & Co. It is there, I promise. But starting from the top, we have the new Audi RS3 LMS, the 2021 revision version of this, so some different bodywork on it, some minor updates as well. So it's the Evo version, I suppose you could call, of the RS3 LMS. So there's that one available. We have the Cupra, of course, which is quite a popular car in the world of TCR racing. We have the Civic TCR, pretty much as it was from the previous season. Then we have another new car, the Hyundai Elantra. This is the longer version of the i30, which was the previous edition of the Hyundai TCR car. And we also have, bit of a surprise to me, we have the Lada Vesta TCR. Now, we've had the Lada Vesta in RaceRoom before, but in the WTCC spec. This is before it went into TCR specification. And I wasn't aware they did a Lada Vesta in TCR spec, but here it is. And it actually is a wildcard entry. It only featured at one round of the season last year, which was the final round in Russia, obviously being a Russian car. So interesting to see that one in here as an extra car. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the Link & Co, which, again, relatively unchanged. So let's have a look at the liveries for the Audis. Frank's here. Hey, Frank. TCR Bible in the house. Yeah, TCR's always good fun. This should be the signature series for R3E. DTM is dead. Yeah, it's changed era, hasn't it? But WTCR is definitely something which you can associate with RaceRoom, and they do it very well. So here we go then. So Audis, we have Gilles Magnus, we have Nate Berton, Fred Verviche, and Tom Coronel, with all very yellow-looking Audis. So interesting to see how this one goes. The Audi in the previous iteration of TCR categories on RaceRoom was always quite a nice car to drive in terms of its front end. It had a very good pointy front end and quite a stable car as well. So interesting to see how this one gets on. Cupra-wise, we have Jordi Genet, we have Bence Bolditz, we have Rob Huff and Mikael Askana. Some nice liveries. I quite like the blue, actually. I think the blue looks really nice. So 4 cars to choose from there. Honda, their lineup didn't change for 21 at all, so we still have Attila Tashi, we have Tiago Montero, Nesta Girolami, and Esteban Guerrieri. So very similar, just the slight reverse of black and white on the all-inkle liveries on this one, so 4 very similar looking cars. So then the Elantras then, we have a few more of these. So we have Gabriele Tarquini in his final season in WTCR, Norbert Michaelis, Luca Enxler, and then we have Andreas and Jessica Beckman in their quite nice looking liveries of their Hyundais. Then we have Jean-Claude Vernet and another wildcard entry, which is Nicolas Baldan. That was a car that only featured part of the season as well. And then we have the Lada Vesta, which we have just the 2 Rosneft liveried cars of Kirill Ladigin and Mikhail Mitiev. And then we have the Link & Co, which, again, unchanged in terms of lineup with Ted Björk, Santi Arusha, Jan Lachey and Ivan Muller. So those are the cars. What we're going to do is we're going to go through from alphabetical order. We're going to take some laps around Silverstone National, partly because it's quite a short circuit and it's a good test circuit for getting lots of laps in and seeing how the cars react. So we're going to do some laps of Silverstone National and see how they compare lap time wise, just on the default setups for now. And then I'll give you my opinion of what they like to drive, and I'm expecting them to be pretty good. So we'll start off with the Audi, and we'll take. I quite like the Come to You livery, so I'm going to go with Gilles' livery here, and we'll turn off the AI for the time being, so we have a clear road. We don't get rammed off. Everything else is good to go. So let's just jump on track and see how we get on. So again, mentioned short laps, plenty of opportunities to see what lap times we can produce rather than just going round and round for ages and only getting the occasional lap on the board. So see how we get on with this. I like to raise us here. Hey, how you doing? It's going good. We're excited to do some more PCR testing for RaceRoom with the brand new content. So yeah, it's going to be good. Thanks for joining us, by the way, this evening. If anyone fancies joining a social media channel, I Like to Race. It's all about motorsport, obviously. Good social media platform. It's growing, and it's good to see that common interest that people can talk about, which is really good. So, bit of a plug for you guys there. Okay, so here we go then. Let's jump on track. No worry about setups just yet. We'll just fire up the Audi and see how we get on. Interior looks quite nice. Obviously, you can see I'm sat a long way back because you don't see the steering wheel. Partly because I'm only on a single monitor and I like to have a bit of vision. But the actual interior looks quite nice with the vents coming out there, and then obviously the driver protection catch net thing on the right. So we'll just build up our speed slowly just to get back into these cars, because it's been a while since I've driven front-wheel drive TCRs on RaceRoom, so they are a little bit unique, so you have to give it a little bit of time to warm yourself up. Down to Brooklands we go. Late apex into there. First impressions are plenty of weight to the steering. You can definitely tell it's front-wheel drive. So here we go. Down to Copse Corner for the first time. Very quick through here. Just a little dab of brakes to settle the car, and then back on the throttle again. Can't run on too far on the left because otherwise you lose your lap time. Down to the Maggot's hairpin. Bit of a lockup. Be quite careful with the throttle on the way out because you don't want to spin the wheels up, because then you just ruin your momentum all the way down the straight. So you want to make sure you're nice and smooth on all the inputs, especially with front-wheel drive. Smooth is good normally anyway, but front-wheel drive is especially sensitive, so you've got to be a little careful. As I missed the apex there slightly, but we're still learning the braking points for this car. And then Luffield, the corner of this goes on and on and on. But I noticed that the shift lights over the top of the dash don't seem to be working. I don't know whether that's me or whether that's actually meant to be for something else, because I know sometimes on those dashboards you do have lights for things like lockups or traction loss, etc. I'm just looking at the dash rather than taking much on in terms of how I'm driving. Just see what's going on, just to see if I can actually get any of those lights to light up at all. I'm going to have another look if we can lock up into Brooklands down here. No? Okay. Interesting. I would have thought those lights would come on. Usually they do. So I have to keep an eye out and see if it's the same with all the cars. Now, you may notice I have my racing light on. I will turn that off for the sake of this test. I only have that on when I'm trying to do hot lapping, because I find it useful for myself to see where I've been braking and if I can improve my my lap time through there. But We don't need it on tonight, so I shall turn that off for you guys so you don't have to look at that. Okay, carry on. So obviously no really fast lap on the board so far, but let's try and see if we can change that now by going a little bit quicker. Obviously this lap's not going to be great because we've had a slow start, but let's get ourselves into this car a little bit more. So far, it does feel like it has that nice front end like the Audi used to with the previous version. Up over the exit curb on the outside there. So the only thing that you do get to know when you've got the red line to change gear is just on the dash when the bar lights at red very quickly at you. You don't have any kind of pre-warning to say that you're approaching the red line with the lights, so you have to be kind of ready for it. But you will get used to it over time in terms of where the shift points are, so just a case of turning some more laps. Funky's here. Hey Funky, how are we doing? Back online again in so short a time. But couldn't pass up this opportunity. Ooh, bit of oversteer on the way in that time. And there's a lap time deleted straight off. Too late on the brakes and didn't get it slowed down enough. As a result, the rear end came round. Feeling quite pedestrian at the moment. I need to try and pick up the pace somewhat. But the car feels nice and tight. I mean, there's plenty of feedback so that you know when you're turning the wheel, so you can be quite precise with it. Drift out to the middle of the track through there, and then attempt to get the power down hard on the exit. So here we go. Let's try and not run off track at the first corner this time. And we'll see how we do. Get the braking done earlier, so probably just after the corner marker here. And then get it turned in. Nice bit of curb on the inside. Straight back on the power again. Probably take a bit more speed through there next time if we're brave. And then try not to lock up as we straighten the car up for Beckett's or Maggots. There we go, got a nice purple sector to start the lap off, which is always a pleasant surprise. Here we go, down to Brooklands again, braking just after the curb starts on the right. Into third, trail the brake in, pick up the throttle, and just balance the car through Luffield. Wait until you can put the power down. You really have to be so patient through Luffield because it's so easy to get impatient and just try and slam the throttle on to get around there quicker, but it just doesn't work. So here we go, up over the line, new session best of 59.6. Too busy looking at that time, missed the braking point. That's why you should look at it on the straights when you haven't got a corner coming up. So 59.6 so far is our quickest. A couple more laps to see if we can lower that benchmark, and then we'll try one of the other cars in the pack. So Funky said, I'm good. I was on last night in AMS2 in the 74 RSR. Great fun. Yeah, it's always fun, that car. It's a bit of a handful, but in a good way. Not driven that in too long. We need to get back into that again. Right. This time we won't be looking at lap time, so hopefully we can get our braking point right for cops. Right. Here we go. Get it just after the corner marker. Oh, it's a little wide, so perhaps not quite that late. Yeah, as expected. Over 2/10 off our previous best sector into that split. It's purely because it just ran too deep into the first corner. That's a very tight line through there. car feels good though. Feels feels quite planted actually. It's not like it's trying to throw me off the track. It's not trying hard enough just yet. It's a better first corner. See what that's like in the split. Yep, it's a good split. Not sure whether third gear is the right one for Beckett's, but we'll see what the speed's like at the end of the straight. So I like to race this. I've never played RaceRoom. How do you like it? I actually really like RaceRoom. I think it's very, very good. And a good variety of different cars and tracks which don't always get featured in other sims, so it's nice to have that different content to play with. And it drives nicely too. It is definitely worth a go. And it's free to try as well, so you can just drive whatever car you want in the game and see what you think in the test drive session. There we go. Quicker again. 59.3. So, okay. Not a bad start at all. 59.3. So let's go and check out the next car and see how that compares to the Audi. But it's a solid start, as you would expect from the kings of TCR cars in sim racing. So remember that time, 59.342. Okay. Oops. What's going on here? Practice. Okay. Leon Cupra time. I'm going to go with one of the blue ones. I'm going to go with Hordy Genet's car. And same conditions, obviously. We don't want to have preferential track conditions, otherwise that'll just render our test completely void. Funky says multi-classed the GT Classics with the German touring cars. So that's the Corvette and the 74 RSR with the Group A cars. Interesting combo. And they're well matched. So presumably the GT Classics are better on the straights, but then the Group A cars catch up in the corners. What I would expect, maybe. Sounds fun. Give that a go. Right, so into the Cupra, which previously, driving the Cupra has been one of the quicker cars out of the lot. So if you looked at excuse me, if you looked at time trial leaderboards for TCR classes on RaceRoom, you tend to find a lot of the top guys were using the Cupra in the old class. So it'd be interesting to see whether that's still the case or not. Now, very different dashboard in the Cupra, and I do know that there's a fair amount of 3D printing that happened for this particular car. So it's quite a futuristic car in many respects. There's a great big carbon fiber dash in front of us. And of course we have the DSG sound as you go up through the gears, which I'm being completely honest, I'm not a fan of. It sounds like someone trumping every time you change gear. Yeah. But it's there and it's replicated accurately, so it's all good. It's just a sound I'm not a fan of. But it sounds like that in real life, so it's all good. What I have noticed is that we have got working dash lights. So I wonder whether it's just something that's not quite right with the Audi that we don't have those lights, which I'm sure will be addressed in an upcoming patch. Not a game breaker by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely something worth noting. So now we're warmed up in TCR cars, we can start pushing on with the Cupra. And so far, I know this is a slightly shorter wheelbase than the Audi. It does feel a little bit more edgy, shall we say. It moves around a bit more underneath you. I can tell that already. Just going into some of these corners, it's just having a little wiggle just to let you know that the tyres aren't overly happy, but it will comply for now until, of course, you push a little bit too far beyond that limit. And in that case, you end up with all sorts of trouble. But we can't jump to conclusions just yet because this is only our first flying lap with the car. So we'll keep going and we'll see how it compares. The Funky says, yeah, probably the Group A are a little faster at most tracks. Let's get through Cops safely. But not by much. Good battles to be had. Okay. I shall definitely check that out. So, we are quicker than our first flying lap, but then that's pretty easy to see, even though we did run a bit wide there. So we have our delta on the dash for this one, so we can see that we're up by 1.5 tenths coming down the Wellington Straight. Slightly better line into Brooklands, albeit running on. Yeah, in default settings, the Cupra is quite a little bit more active than the Audi. The Audi seems quite benign in a way. You're just kind of not having to deal with too much. Yeah, either they come off the brakes and the back end is just sliding, backing into the corner ever so slightly. So that was a 59.6. So that's only 3 tenths off what we did in the Audi. So we are quicker again in the first sector. I'm going to carry that advantage all the way down here because we ran off on the exit of the hairpin last time round. So we've got a nice delta appearing on the dash, 2 tenths up now. Let's get a better later apex in here. It's more like it and get the power down. I think you can keep it on for very long because you're on the brakes for Luffield. There you go. Accelerating hard off the corner and we're nearly 4 tenths up, so this is probably going to be a quicker lap than the Audi within less laps. So that is 59.237, and I'm pretty sure there will be more in that as well. Not on this lap because we messed up Cops, but there's more in that lap time for sure. Ooh. It's a big old lockup. Still made the corner though somehow. I mean, I even broke a little bit earlier just to be on the safe side and be a bit cautious there, but just as well we did. It is quite fun balancing this car though. It's a very different driving experience than the Audi. Even with its silly upshift sounds. Right. Well, we were up into the apex there, but we are losing out on the exit, partly because we had a big old slide through there. We are gaining time again down the straight, so we're going to go quicker again if we can keep the last sector together. Not by much though. So you always have to keep an element of throttle on with these front-wheel drive cars because that's what helps bring that front end around the corner, so you have to kind of drag it through the corners with the throttle. But too much and it'll just understeer off because it won't be able to deal with all the power we've been trying to put down. And that's quicker again, 59.1. So we were purple through the first sector there, but just carried a bit too much speed through the hairpin, and that was the end of that one. Okay, so difference-wise to the Audi, it is more lively. It does move around a lot more through the corners. You're having to kind of just balance it a little bit with some opposite lock just to keep the rear end in check. But as you can see from the time, we are 2 tenths quicker with not an awful lot of effort. We could put more time into that and go quicker again. So on default settings at least, the Cupra is the quicker so far. We still have few more cars to test before we can decide who's quickest on default settings. Not that matters, because obviously people are going to be setting it up anyway. So, Honda time. It doesn't really matter what livery we choose here, so we'll go with Attila's. Games at UK subscribe. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thanks for joining us on the channel. Thanks for watching as well. Hope you're enjoying seeing what we're doing here and testing out these TCR cars. And please stick around and watch some more. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So a 59-1 to beat. Gonna be interesting to see whether that's possible, because I do think the Cupra, just based on its history, has always been quite a quick car. So we'll see. Fire up the Honda and see what happens here. Again, very different engine sounds. We have LED lights on the dash as well, so it's 2 out of 3. What I found with the Honda over the different seasons of WTCR is that you can't really see an awful lot out of the left-hand side because there's a rather large column there. So you don't really see a great deal out that way, which restricts your vision into corners like this. So you almost have to drive by guesswork in some cases. So that's something else to get used to with these cars, is the driving positions. So, down to turn 1 for the first time in the Honda. Again, this one's a slightly longer wheelbase than the Cupra. Not by much, but it should be a little bit more secure through the quicker corners, but maybe not quite as agile through the slow stuff like this one. This is where the Cupra excels with its very loose setup, where it's just moving around all the time. So interesting to see whether this is more of the same or like the Audi. A bit deep into there. Okay, the first flying lap under the belt, not a absolutely stellar one by any stretch of the imagination, but we'll improve. Again, rear end coming around on me into Copse Corner, and that lap is gone. But we're at 59.7 essentially for the first lap. But that is with not really having the greatest of runs through here or Brooklands, so some tidying up to do, to be fair. Doesn't quite have the same weight to it as the Audi, maybe. Here's where the guesswork comes in. Trying to figure out where to find that apex. Okay, this lap obviously was written off, so let's go for another one and try and lower that lap time slightly. The Funky says, now I'm caught up with all the DMS, DLC and AMS2. I can probably justify spending a few quid on RaceRoom if I like it. Yeah, that's good, so you're up to date. They'll probably bring out a new update and you'll have to catch up again, Funky. Yeah, no, I definitely think it's worth looking at RaceRoom, but the great thing is you can, as I said, you can try it out in the test drive mode, and you can try some cars that you're interested in and see if you like them, and if you like them, then you can get them, and then you can enjoy them. It's the great thing about RaceRoom, is the ability to test drive all cars before you spend your hard-earned cash on them. Not that you'd be overly disappointed with any of the cars in RaceRoom, because I find they're all pretty good, but you know, you've got to do what you got to do. So, but yeah, give it a go. worth a go. That was better despite being extremely scruffy. So what was that? 59.2? Really? Okay. Because that last sector I was too busy talking and not actually concentrating on setting a lap time, so I'm surprised that's that quick. But we are 10.5 down here, but the last sector is probably where we can make up some time. It's wide out of there. Funky bought the whole Racing USA pack, so I'm okay for a bit. Yeah, you got yourself covered for a little bit of time there. Wow, okay, so caught a bit of oversteer going into there, but able to turn into it and then keep the momentum going through the corner somehow, which was quite beneficial. Even if I did throw all of that away at the hairpin. But yeah, that's a reasonable first split, actually. I'm distracting you. Oh, it's all good. Don't mind answering questions and comments. It's all part of the game. Definitely more power understeer in the Honda, in default form. So some of the other cars, you can get the power down quite hard coming out of Luffield and it will pull you through, but with the Honda it does tend to push on. Okay, again, not a bad run through turn one, not quite as quick as last time, but we are still marginally up. Mind the steering as quick as you can through there so you don't scrub off all the speed. There's very small margins around a short track, but purple sector's a purple sector regardless. Right, this time. Okay, so we are up by nearly 2/10, so let's see how this lap time comes out. What's it going to be? It's a 59.0. Whether that's just we're getting used to these TCR cars or not, I don't know, but they're getting quicker every time. So, Honda quickest of the lot so far. In default form, I'm not sure there's much left on the table with that one. You'd probably have to change some diff settings to try and get the front end to behave a bit more on power. But nevertheless, a 59.088. Quicker so far. So the car itself, just a quick summary on that one. It's kind of a mixture of both the Audi and the Cupra, to be honest. It's not as edgy as the Cupra, but it has an element of stability through the fast stuff. But then slow corners, it has that understeer tendency, which is, of course, dialable out with some setup work. But just jump in and drive, quickest, but you're gonna have to work for it a little bit. So, new car time again. We've tried one new car already, which is the Audi RS3. Now it's on to the Hyundai. And we have plenty of livery choices for the Hyundai. And I quite like the Beckman looking livery. I think I'm going to go with Andreas's livery here, actually. Let's see how this one goes. So again, Hyundai have gone from their shorter wheelbase hatchback, essentially, to a longer hatch. It's not really, I wouldn't really call it a saloon. Not far off, but it's kind of an extended hatch, I suppose. But yeah, either way, it's a longer wheelbase, so it should be better through the longer corners. And obviously, you've got the likes of Lynk & Co, which have been really good in the last few years of TCR Championship Racing, and it's probably a reason why they've gone for this longer wheelbase car rather than the shorter one. So let's see. Let's find out. Hey, Hampel. Welcome. Good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us this evening. Hope you enjoy watching us check out these TCR cars, the new 2021 cars. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen a Hyundai Elantra TCR in a sim, because iRacing have already got it, which is good. Which is good for them, because they're not normally completely first with some things, but it's been around for a while in the world of sim racing. But it's the first time that this car has appeared in RaceRoom itself. I have driven the iRacing version of this car, which is very good, to be honest. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like in comparison here in the RaceRoom. Much nicer viewing through the left-hand pillar there, so I don't have to worry about guessing my way around left-handers, as opposed to what I was doing in the Civic. So it's always nice to be able to see where you're going. But I always used to find that the i30, the previous version of the Hyundai TCR car, was one of the nicer cars to drive out of the lot. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. In first corner, flat out, not flat out, but in a racing speed, felt very stable. And again, through the Maggot's hairpin, very little drama. There's not much going on there. Okay, there's a little bit of a lockup, but other than that, that's my fault. It's not the car. And a third. A little quick into left field, but hopefully we can get ourselves a good exit, and then we can fire into a new lap with some decent momentum. So here we go. Through Woodcut we go. Of course, it's a session best because it's our first flying lap. Ooh, there's that oversteer which we experienced in the Cupra, but it's okay. Just have to balance the car better next time. Moving around a bit more now as well. So Frank says, Funky, you race in a league of sorts, or just... Oh, he's asking the question, are you racing a league of sorts, or just ad hoc as it comes along? Favourite the 74 RSR as well for Frank. So far, I know we've only driven, this is the fourth car, but looking at the TCR cars on the face of it, you'd be forgiven for thinking that, you know, oh, they're all front-wheel drive touring cars, they're all going to drive pretty much the same. It's actually quite refreshing to see that they all do drive very differently. There are certain characteristics which define each car. So it's not just a case of just picking your livery and your shape and then everything's the same. So thought's gone into every single car and it's all been done correctly, and the physics are as each car should be. Ooh, a bit of understeer through there. We are purple on both sectors, but then we haven't really put anything together which is particularly exciting. So let's just keep pushing on and see what we can do. Well, when I say pushing on, not push, we just want to go faster. So that was a 59.4. So a good half second or so to find. Very different kind of drive. It seems a bit more, I don't know, it's not quite as good on the brakes, maybe. I need to try and dial my brain into it a little bit just to understand what the car wants to do. So, into cops again. Early turn-in seems to work quite well with this car. Take a lot of curve on the inside there. But we don't have the constant delta on the dash with this car, so you have to wait until the splits to find out how you're doing. You can't see a real-time look at how your lap is progressing. But so far it feels cleaner, but it doesn't look like it's particularly good on the splits. I'm seeing a lot of red, which is concerning. There it goes after this. So Frankie's having a conversation with Frank about the RSR, just driving ad hoc races with them. That's a run off wide. Oh, we've gone quicker though, 159, sorry, not 159, 59.1. So that's there or thereabouts. Didn't feel like it was a particularly quick lap, I must admit. That was an awful corner, I was too busy trying to get through there. Busy talking about AMS2. Don't worry, it's all good. You chat away, guys. I'm not hijacking anything. It's that's why chat's there, so you guys can speak and have a good conversation about some racing stuff. So you go right ahead. I'll jump in where I can. Right, a bit of a cool off that lap. Let's go again. See if we can lower that 59 to a 59.0. Because yeah, last time that fast lap, I don't remember cops being anything special. And that one won't be either because it's 0.2 off, but it's okay. Trail brakes into left field a little bit just to try and get that nose in. Despite it saying Hyundai Motorsport on the dash, I'm having to kind of tell myself that I am in a Hyundai because it's not as lively as I expect it to be because of the i30's handling. What's that going to be like for a split? I felt like I bogged down on the exit there, but we are up. Marty's here. Says, cheers, I just checked out R3E for the first time early today. Had good fun. Oh, awesome. Good to hear. I know it's early days, but have you got a favourite car? Somehow we got purple in Sector 2 as well, so this could be a better lap. Didn't see the splits, but... across the line we go, 59.08, so that's pretty much on par with the... what did we just drive? The Honda. Yeah. Okay, well that's pretty evenly matched. It feels a bit of a sleeper, to be honest, the Hyundai. It doesn't feel fast. Some of the other cars you drive and you think, yeah, that was a fast lap. And, you know, it was alright, but this, you feel like you're not even trying. And it just goes quick, which I suppose is good in a way. But it does seem very uneventful to drive. There's a little bit of oversteer on the fast stuff, as we saw through Copse Corner. But I think this car is a little bit more sensitive in the way that you have to balance it through the corners, so you have to really be crossing over with your brake and your throttle inputs just to make sure that the car remains stable all the way through the corner. Because if you come off one too abruptly or on one too abruptly, the car gets a little upset and it will either push into an understeer or it will have a little bit of a snap on you. So you have to kind of balance and do a bit of a dance on the pedals to keep it going. But interesting that it's that quick. So that's good. Let's go on. We have 2 more cars to test. So the next one up is the wild card of the Lada. Now this one is a completely blank canvas for me because we've not driven this TCR car in any season so far. So let's see how it goes. Oh, so you picked up the starter pack, Marty. Yeah, that's good. Good way to start. Some good stuff in there. The NSU's in there, I believe, and I think the BMW M235i is in there, as well as some other stuff. So that's cool. Good stuff. Funky says, "Yeah, I'm even enjoying the new F1 2022." Shocking, I know. That's very shocking for you, Funky, knowing your your penchant for historic stuff rather than the modern. Yeah, well, good on you for getting into that. That's good. So Marty's only had 20 minutes in the Audi TT 2016 version. Okay. Yeah, it's a good car. Done the traction control right off with that one as well, by the way. It's a front-wheel drive car. It's better without it. Right. Lada time. No jokes, please. Right, okay. I wonder what this is going to be like then. Again, different sound. Sounds quite nice. I'm not sure how successful the TCR car, the Lada, is in real life, so I don't know whether they came into the series for that one race and then totally obliterated everyone, or whether it was mid or back of the pack. So we'll have to just wait and reserve judgment on how it drives in game. Oops. Funky says still has too many gears and buttons to press. Yeah, you just feel like you're constantly shifting in those things. Just up, 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 down, 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 all the way. It's a 5-speed manual. That'll sort him out. So it's a very different engines node actually. It's a lot lower, not quite as high rev sounding as some of the other cars. It sounds quite meaty and quite, you know, just very low end sound to it, but quite like it actually. It's very stiff. The car is very stiff. It's you probably see it bouncing through Luffield there, like it's on rocks rather than springs. But it doesn't mean it's unstable to drive though. It's with the fast stuff, it's quite neat actually. A 16.7 on the opening splits. Might be a couple of tenths off our quickest so far, but let's get through the remainder of this lap and see how it pans out. Yeah, so although it's bouncing quite a bit through the exit of Luffield, you can get the power down quite easily actually. So it's not like it's got power understeer issues, so no way. straight up. First proper flying lap, and it's a 59.03, so the quickest yet. Wow. The tagline for Skoda is usually surprisingly Skoda, but this is surprisingly Lada. That's... okay. Well, let's see if we can go any lower. How low can you go? Considering we also didn't get a great run through here like we've just done now, so... okay, let's give it another go, see if we can hook up a lap and go into the 58s maybe. We're close. No, not this time. Not enough brake or thinking going on there. It is very tight on the front end in terms of, you know, in the slow speed stuff. It really gets into the corner very easily. I'm turning in too early to the hairpin there because I feel like I should be turning in, but it actually just grips and goes. So fast stuff, well, through here on previous laps it wasn't great, but that was a little better. Here's me complaining about the handling of a car, which is so far the quickest of anything we've driven so far this evening. Right, get it stopped. That's pushed on too much. Trying to carry too much speed. As is the case, sometimes when you think, oh yeah, I can just push that little bit more and go faster. Doesn't work. You start making more mistakes and you end up going slower. Which is why slow is fast. Oops, call the gravel. And now I can feel I have some dirt on my tyres, which is really cool. Wow, that was hooked up through cops that time. Split gonna say. Yep. We have got the delta on the dash for this one, so I can see I've lost time by running too wide. You can hear all the downshift prevention beeps going off because I'm too eager to go down the gearbox, and the gearbox says no, not yet. Not allowed. Need to learn the timings of when I can downshift. Bit of an oversteer slide through there. So cautious on the brakes. It's way too early going into the hairpin, and I'm just kind of in no man's land, just waiting for the corner to arrive. Right, let's go again. I'm pretty sure we can lower that lap time. Pretty sure we can do it. Oh, that's the technique through the first corner there. You just kind of, yeah, just balancing steering and braking inputs. The only reason I got a purple sector into there, I think, is because I outbraked myself. So I was carrying more speed in where I shouldn't have been. Oh, just totally missed that one there as well. Okay, well, I think there's more lap time in that. I think the Lada's really nice. I would have thought that. That's actually a really nice car to drive. It's balanced all round. There's no major characteristic flaws that I can see on default setups anyway. High speed stuff. Yeah, you have to balance it with the brake a little bit, but then most front-wheel drive TCR cars you do. Yeah, slow speed stuff, again, you can get it turned in nicely. And lots of good traction on the exit, so yeah. Lada is good. Lada is good and quick too. So quickest yet, 59.03. Can the Lincoln Co. break into the 58s? That's the question. So we have a choice of wing mirror colours for the Lincoln Co. We can either go with yellow, blue, pink, or black. I think it's yellow anyway. I can't see because my overlay on the screen there. But we're going to go with Jan's car for this one and go with pink mirrors because why not? Again, long wheelbase, probably the longest in the class actually. I would have thought. We'll have to see how this one takes to the tight confines of the Silverstone National Circuit. And Mengwa, I can see your comment there. I wish I could know exactly what it was saying, but I assume you're talking about the touring car series for Argentina, but I'm not sure what the rest means, I'm afraid. But thanks for commenting. I appreciate you watching and commenting along. I'll translate that later, and I'll see what you say. Right, here we go. So Frankie says, I think braking and changing down gears with the H shifter is where I lose a lot of time. It's yeah, it's a bit of an art using the H pattern with downshifting. It's always quicker to use paddles, but who uses paddles with historic cars just isn't right. So here we go then, the Lincoln Co. And that's pretty much all the TCR cars, apart from the Audi, that have the dash lights working. So something's just not connected up. The wiring not quite plugged in properly. So this car, I know from previous versions, has got the traction loss lights on the side. You just saw the purple light up on the left-hand side then. You can see just a little bit there. I like to races. Enjoy the rest of the testing. I need to go back to some coding, making me want to play watching you. Oh, sorry, this is distracting you, but thanks for joining us. I appreciate your time. Hope your coding goes well for the rest of the evening. Well, that was drama-free going through cops, as you'd expect with the long wheelbase car such as this. So let's see if it comes unstuck here. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. But we'll wait and see what the lap times say. Again, good visibility, so I can see the apex for Brooklands. Again, no delta on the dash for this one, so you have to rely on your split times to see how you're getting on. Wow, we caught a bit of the inside curve that time, didn't we? So 59.4, first one on the board. 16.9, so it's a good tenth and a half, maybe 2/10 off what we were doing in the Lada through the first split. Always got the feeling driving this car it was quite cumbersome. Just trying to extract the lap time out of it, but people do make it go very quickly. And we have improved to 59.3. It's a better first split. It was a 16.6, but again thrown away with the run into the hairpin there. So probably down the next split. Heaps of curb on the inside. There is some potential for a good lap here, so we need to keep on pushing. Getting the power so early out of there. .7 there. So Funky says, I think as I blip the throttle, this is about braking and downshifting with H pattern. I think I'm coming off the brake a little and having to brake early to compensate. Ah, yes. If you're heeling and towing, it can be quite tricky to keep the brake pressure on while blipping. And it's much easier to maintain that brake pressure if you're not having to worry about heeling and towing, so yeah, it's definitely a very tricky skill to learn. There we go. Ooh, there we have it. The Lincoln Co's got into the 58s, 58.984, and that was relatively quickly as well. Just had to kind of get tuned into the required driving style for the car. I'm pretty sure now if I go back and jump in the Audi, I can probably go quicker than the 59.3. But comes with the more laps you do, the more used to the cars and how to drive them you get. Out of Luffield we go. Let's try and see if we can lower that again, because I'm pretty sure there's more time than that. Marty says, any tips for rookie ranked racers on R3E? Interesting question. Yes. First of all, don't worry. I know a lot of people will go into a ranked race when there's ratings on the line and worry about hitting things or people or going off track and amassing penalty points and things, but don't worry about that. Just drive your own race. What happens, happens. As far as keeping clean on rookie servers is concerned, I found that most rookie servers are actually reasonably tidy, but be prepared to relinquish a position. I think too many people get so caught up in the fact of I'm racing, so therefore I need to defend every position to an inch of my life so that I don't lose a place, where in reality that can lead to being in more trouble, because that's when accidents happen, people tangle, and then you get annoyed and things just go downhill from there. But I think my top tip is to not, I guess it's to pick your battles. So you may find that some people will join the session and not being able to set a lap time, and there'll be really fast people behind you on the grid. and at some point or another they are probably going to get past you if you aren't as quick as them. So you have to accept the fact that that's going to happen anyway, and better to let it happen and let them get out of the way and get on with your own race than get caught up in trying to defend from them and then having all sorts of issues arise from that. If, however, they are around the same pace as you and they do look like they're really pushing to get a move to go past, and they are seemingly going to force a move regardless of how far alongside you they are or not, let them go. Because if they're that dangerous or erratic, chances are you may be able to get them back later in the race. So pick your battles is probably my top tip for surviving any online race, regardless of whether it's ranked or for fun or whatever it is. That's probably my main tip. Hope that helps. It may sound counterintuitive because you're supposed to be racing and fighting for positions, but it is good to know. Blue flags in R3? Yes, there are blue flags. I'm not sure whether there's any penalties that occur from ignoring those blue flags, but I do know there are blue flags. Well, done a few laps there, not really concentrating, but we're running low 59s. Okay, Link and Co then. So very solid through the fast stuff, and surprisingly nimble in the slow stuff. Actually, it's not feeling quite as lazy through the slow corners as I imagined or remembered it being from previous versions. I think it's just spending that time to get used to it and driving it better. But yeah, proof if proof were needed that the Link & Co is fastest on default setup by a little bit, not much. I'm pretty sure you can get all of those cars below a 59.0, given the time and the effort to actually learn to drive them properly. So that's the cars. We're going to do a little bit of we'll do a race here because it's not touring cars if you're not racing. So we'll do a bit of a race. I think for me, what can I say? They're all good. They're all fun in their own individual way, and they all drive very nicely. I think, surprisingly, I think the Lada's probably my favourite, which is, yeah, who would have thought that? But I do quite like the edginess of the Cupra. That is quite fun to battle that thing around. But I think maybe we give the Audi another go because it's first car we drove, so we'll jump back into that. We'll do a race. So we'll do a 5-lap race. We won't have practice on. We don't need that. We have practiced enough. Qualifying off anyway. What grid we're in, but that's okay. So where should we go for a race? Let's do Brands Grand Prix circuit. We'll do a 6-lap race on Brands Grand Prix circuit, and then we'll try another track as well. Mattis, I prefer clean and fun. Yes. I think there are quite a few of us who would rather have a clean, fun race. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's a hobby at the end of the day, isn't it? It's something we all enjoy. I mean, there are some of us who are part of a esports team and we have to be competitive and things, and that gets a bit more serious, obviously. But for the majority of us sim racers, we do it because we love it and we enjoy driving cars virtually. So yeah, as long as you're having fun, that is completely the main thing, and that's where it all matters for us. So, where are we on the grid here? Doing its atmospheric shot before the race. We are, very kindly put us in P2. Oh well. See what happens at Paddock Hill. We could easily be at the back. We have the inside line though. But we know my starts in RaceRoom aren't the best, and I can't remember what launch control is. There we go. I bluffed the start because I didn't know when I was supposed to shift to first gear. Well, we've lost one spot. This means we have an extra car to overtake. Honda's gone straight to the front, got past Tom Coronel, and we're going to do the same. Let's try and keep up with the Esteban Guerrieri car, who's had a run for it at the front. Down Pilgrim's Drop we go, to Hawthorne Bend, which is very, very quick indeed. A bit of a wobble through there. Right on the back bumper, but no way through here at Westfield. A bit of a cut over the inside. We've got a run up to Sheen Curve. This could be dangerous. We're off. We're still going. He's going to try and come back at us here as well. He's got a bit of a run, so we'll sit on the middle of the track. Cutting back on the inside, actually. That's fair play to the AI. Bit of a rub. Touring car style, of course. And he's got me back. Well done. You really can have a good race with the AI in RaceRoom. It wasn't particularly quick through Graham Hill Bend though. Gonna put us on the grass on the run up to the next corner. Get a better run off. Oh no, that's too wide. I'll just sit in behind for now. The funky says, yeah, the series of sim racing puts me off sometimes, but having fun does not mean does not need equal destruction derby. No, it doesn't. Well, this is pretty close stuff at the front. Knocking on the door. Didn't quite have enough to make that work, and I was a bit dangerous backing out. This is good. Bit of a challenge up the front. Setting fastest laps is Esteban. And then we haven't had a proper clean lap to go for it yet. Oop. Bit of a nudge. Remind him we're here. That's the line through Graham Hill Bend. We've got a good run there. We can squeak up the inside. But no, he carried the momentum on the outside. And he's still in front. I assume I'm going to get pretty sick of staring at the back of that Honda. Got a better run through there again. He's on the grass, but he's still got the lead. Tried a bit of a cut back on him there. He's going to squeeze me down the bottom of the track. Ah, there's a wall coming. To the side of me. Where is he? Honestly, I don't know where he is. There he is. Felt him on the inside. Wow, he's all over the back of me there. Fair play. Right, we're clear. Let's go. We're going to check out the release candidate of rFactor 2 later on, are you, Marty? I've had a quick go at that. It's pretty good, but I haven't really spent too much time in rFactor 2, so I'll have to try it out a bit more. But I'm glad that they now have the ability to manually change depth of field and focus and things for screenshots. That's well overdue, so that's been fun to play with. Now we've broken clear, we've got a little bit of a gap, just under half a second. There is he. Fill that. An ultimate lap. See if we can get that fastest lap back off him. Definitely dropping him now. It's good that the dash actually tells you how many laps are remaining as well. Obviously got different modes depending on whether you're in practice or a race. Oof. Lucky to survive that. Oh no, we're off. That's not going to count. Difficult corner sheen curve. Oh, now we've got no grip because we're on the grass and the gravel. Go. Tyres are cleaned up again now, so let's go for it on the last lap. When I say go for it, I mean go for the wall on the outside of Paddock Hill. Put power down. Right. All that work to do again. Big vibrations to the wheel now with all that gravel pickup. We've got half a second to make up on Esteban. See if we can make a last corner move, maybe. Maybe even before that. We'll see. Bit of a headbutt through sheen curve. And we didn't get a run. So it looks like he's got us. Oop, a bit of a wobble. Open the door. We didn't touch him, honest. Oh, he's just going to out-drag us to the line. That was... Oops. Sorry, I'm shoving you off. That was good running, good race. I really enjoyed that actually. That was very good. The Audi feels alright. Yeah. I know it's a different track altogether, but it still feels quite nice to drive. What was the gap at the end of that? A couple of hundredths of a second. Not much at all. Okay. Well, do one more race, shall we? We'll try one of the other cars. Time we'll jump in the Cooper again. Try Rob Huff's car. Where should we go with one? Go somewhere which TCR doesn't go to very often, which is Sonoma. We'll do the go with that. Can you buy a TCR pack in RaceRoom? You can buy the seasons themselves just by themselves, so you can have either 2021 or the 2020 season or previous versions. Don't think they do a all TCR car pack, but once you've got majority, well, once you buy a pack of TCR cars, for anything that's replicated in another pack, you don't have to pay for that already. It's just deliveries that you pay for essentially. So it's good that way. You don't have to just keep spending for the same kind of content, which is good. Right, so here we go. This time we're starting a bit further back. We're in P17. So let's see how we get on from further back on the grid. Van Muller to our right. Okay, this time it's okay. Hold throttle and release when ready. That's a better start. That's how you use launch control. And tiptoe our way through the first corner. Very difficult corner, that one. Point. This time, don't go through the big long loop. We come down to the NASCAR version of the circuit with the wall on the outside there. Hard on the brakes for the right-hander. And thread our way through here. There's just cars everywhere. Love this series of corners through here. Speed builds all the way through. And come here, straight line brake it, just a little bit of a dab. Big curb on the inside. And then wait for the dip in the road. That's where you hit the brakes. And up the inside with all the tyre stacks, trying to avoid those. Cooper's busy beating up on the Hyundai there. Let's team up on them together. Difficult braking into turn one. Up the hill and turning. Do love the Sonoma circuit. Whoop, no, no. I've Tarquini'd it. Ah, you don't need to finish me off, lads. It's alright. Oh no, let's see what happened there. Well, I think we all know what happened there. I think I just hit a curb too much, but let's actually watch what happens. Over the first one, too much on the second, and over she went. So I just aim for the rolling car, as you do. Okay, well let's go again. Restart that. I want to do a proper race. I want to end on my roof. Alright, let's get a chance to do hold throttle. You don't actually have to engage first gear yourself, it's just a case of pushing the button and it'll automatically engage first gear. A good start, let's get to the inside for turn 1 as quick as possible. Cold tyres on the rear. All some slidey moments. Now we now need to not go too mad on the curb at the top of the hill. No, it's not even a sausage curb, you're right, Funky. Normally that's what is my undoing, but not today. Just a combination of curb plus crest of hill. It's frantic. Oh, now they're going all the way around the outside of everyone there. There we go. Got a bit of a run here, just nice break in a straight line, settle the car. If we were in anything longer wheelbase, that may not have happened, that roll. But I'm going to stick to anyway. Oops, sorry Ben. I tapped my fellow Cupra driver in front. Esteban again, still in the fastest lap. Guy's unbeatable. Cut back, we're on the wrong side of the road. Missed that curb. Good run, right, let's get in the inside down here. Yeah. Right, that's P12, let's go after that top 10. Just corner after corner around here. I love that the AI give you room if you're on the inside. It doesn't try and turn in on you blindly. Oop, punch. We'll try and force you off though. Again, Esteban still in the fastest lap. Slow down. Ah, there we go, right. Up to P11. Well, the Hyundai's ahead. Look at Engstler. There's our top 10 in front of us. Let's go get him. So easy to end up face planting that wall on the outside there. Too wide of a line going in there. That's what's allowed our lap time. It's okay, we're not going to be able to set a quick lap time in traffic anyway, but ooh. Slamming the brakes on the top of the hill, huh? Interesting tactic. Too low for that. There's a little bit of a amount of oversteer going into there, but easily controllable. And maybe I was a bit ambitious. Ooh, just forced him into the wall. Right, we've got some space now. Let's see if we can get ourselves a good time on the board and catch up with the next car. Steered out of that one quickly. We're currently at second up on our fastest lap. Now we have a bit of space. We were on the inside then. We're through to 7th. 2 seconds quicker on our lap. Nicholas, you're going faster, but we've gone quicker. I do love this track. It's so good. And quite well suited for touring cars too, actually. Oops. In my attempts not to roll over, I completely missed the apex. On a bit of a roll at the moment. Not that kind of roll, but a good kind of roll. Still there on the outside. Just balancing the car through there. First time I actually managed to get into the hairpin without stuffing up the inside of someone. There we go. That's the checkered flag. We got to 6th in the end after all that. But once again, some good racing going on with the touring cars against the AI. So, Wtcr 2021. What do I think? They are very, very good. As I guess you kind of come to expect with the TCR cars on RaceRoom. Now, I guess the question people are going to be asking is, why should I bother with this rather than 2020? Which is a fair point. Handling-wise, they're quite similar. But, you know, obviously the main draw card being is that it's the latest cars and the latest teams and things. And yeah, I mean, if you're in the TCR market and you prefer the 20 pack because it has the Megane or a favourite driver and a favourite livery, whatever it may be, you won't be disappointed if you go for a 2020 pack. So the 21 pack is just as good. A different variety of cars as well, with the Lada in there, and then the 2 new cars, the Elantra and the RS3. But yeah, I really like it. I think, you know, if people are wanting to get a TCR pack and you haven't got a TCR pack currently, 2021 is the way to go. If you've already got a TCR pack, the upgrade to a 21 pack is not going to be as much, because you'll have a few of the cars already, so shouldn't be too bad. But these cars are oops, I should have gone to the pits there. Are very fun. They're very fun to drive and to race. But yeah, again, online you'll have buckets of fun driving these cars. Mazda V6 is here, looks good. May need to reinstall RaceRoom. Yeah, do it. Get back on it. It's a lot of fun. Nice driving experiences to be had with these cars. There we have it. So 2021 cars. Favorite out of the lots is, as I mentioned, potentially the Lada, just because the way it drives and the sound's actually quite nice as well. For a mad thrash, the Cupra, because it's just wild and unstable but fast. Least favorite one, I'd probably say the Honda, but only really down to the fact that I can't see out of the left. You got triple screens, not much of an issue, but for me on a single screen, my visibility is severely hampered if I'm looking left compared to all the other cars. But handling wise and things, yeah, fine. You can work with it, and it'll be all good. But yeah, so there we go. That's our first drive and our first look at the 2021 cars for RaceRoom Racing Experience. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. You never really go too far wrong with TCR cars in RaceRoom. But yeah, let me know in the comments which one you like best, and if you have a favorite out of the TCR cars, and be good to hear from you. But we will be back again soon, I'm sure, and we'll do some more live streaming, some more racing as well. And don't worry, more community races are coming, so stay tuned for that. But until then, take care of yourselves. Thanks for joining us once again and for your comments, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.